If Lucio's dead, I would just nano either Zarya or Diva, or even Zen, honestly. Especially because we're close to trance. Nanoing Zen could be okay. He would build trance quickly. And then we could fight with that.
Down.
But I think it's really hard to force the issue as Ryan when you don't have speed.
Sorry, Discord.
See, I think that was just, we played too passive and then they came in, like they reinforced, and
They have an Ash.
they got a pick and
Still right? Yep, I have trance.
we didn't really just get enough value out of goats.
Oh, monkey? Okay, okay. I have trance, I'm just.
Are you holding top then?
Yeah. Yeah.
They still have Symmetra? They probably have Grav.
Or destroy turrets as soon as you see
Because if we had pushed them out there and like gotten all those 4 kills when we were 5v4, then we would have built like all of our ults, and then we'd be in a way stronger position because, you know, Guts relies a lot on just ult cycling.
See them. They're coming. Right side.
I think the instant swap is good.
Oh, that Ash. I'm on the rat fight. I'm on the rat fight.
I want to see how they approached here. So
They-
their Ryan just pins in.
They teleported across.
Okay, anytime the Ryan hits shift like this, let's just discord him and everybody shoot him.
Right side.
He got bubbled though. Okay, this is fine. Michael, you're in a pretty dangerous spot. I would have like either taken high ground or like one of these high grounds up there. Where were you? And then you
Right side,
you dropped. I would just stay where you were. This is a good spot. You could just stand up here and just shoot down on them.
Ryan discorded.
Because if there's Arya's looking up at you shooting, then, you know, it's a lot of space you're making.
I'm on the rat fight.
Kind of noticed that a little bit yesterday too when we were trying to do. I think we were playing triple tank dive.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we would kind of be in the fight before we had a call from Jonathan on like from our monkey on who we were on.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd kind of be like mid-fight and then we'd get a call, which is
So the thing is, like,
less effective.
Especially on this point, this comp, we don't have to hard dive necessarily. We just have to like play to punish them. So here, let me go back a little bit. If right now, let me get a little different angle. Okay, so if we have like our Diva on this high ground, and potentially even our Winston up here, which I don't know if you can be there yet or not, but whatever. Then all we have to do is, you know, Zarya can drop point and play this corner, keep our supports high ground. They have like not much to contest them. They just have an Ashe, so as long as you aren't like being too greedy with your peaks, then you should be okay. And then as they come out to point, like eventually they have to come to point, and then we just contest with our Winston, and we can like juggle basically how you play, like, you know, when you have like a dive or whatever, you just like keep juggling point between tanks and let our Zarya build grav, get a grav, clean up. That's basically just what you have to do is play slow, grind, build ults, and use them to win. We don't want to like hard engage without having any ults, but
Right side. Ryan discorded. I'm on the rat fight. And I don't need.
it was pretty good. Like our Winston's making good space and back, but I think it was just everybody. Yeah, like you said, is like we gave up too much by our positioning.
We can grab. I'm grabbing.
Where like again, if you were up on the high ground with Diva, then like when our Winston dove there, you could drop with him and help him get those kills too.
Grab. Grabbing.
Everyone was just too busy to shoot the turret.
I can't.
I'm gonna touch for a second. I can touch.
Yeah,
I can touch.
I think that was just like we give up too much space because we're not like clear about where we want to fight or what's going on really. I think once we know they're over here, then our Zarya has to drop right away and like try to get to like either this pillar or this pillar and just play to pressure anybody who comes to point. Diva stays high ground, pressures this way, and if their backline pushes out, Winston jumps in, Diva can help, whatever. And we look for like Zen damage and discords from this angle, and nades from this angle.
Yeah, but eventually we'll have to contest at some point.
Right, and we should be able to build like primal or something to contest, or we have trance, but we have like 90% grab. So all we have to do is build 10% alt charge before they get a tick.
They're coming. Right. Right side. Ryan discorded. I'm on that Ashton. I'm on the rat line. And I don't need. I'm not winning.
Yeah, as I get shattered
I'm grabbing.
here. So yeah, I think this is just like we're not playing enough to like
Grab.
choke areas and build
Grabbing,
builds we
grabbing.
need to win the fights.
Careful, the shield. I can't.
I'm gonna touch for a second. I can touch.
Let ball touch first.
Oh my god!
Oh no, that's so unfortunate.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Ryan is better, honestly, versus comp. I think Winston's good, but I'm not sure. I think it's kind of hard when they just teleport on like on or near point with a Reinhardt. We have to like do something faster.
They have a.
Oh, we should use this.
Maybe Ryan Winston can work, like
They had a
Ryan Winston's
coming,
Zarya.
someone called Ryan.
Point. I think pushing out a point there was probably essential because they were gonna have respawn advantage and do what they did, or you could finish them there
I
and
think
give your
probably
team
just
time to respawn. It
them
was like a
had
tough
to,
call.
you have to play more
I think
aggressive
pushing
there.
out, you guys might have lost the
I think
fight,
we
but
just
if
like
you
gave
wanted
them
to,
too
it
much
actually
space, and
helped.
then
So maybe knowing when
we
to
didn't
take
get
like
enough
an
out of
even
it.
fight,
They just used ults. We
especially
didn't.
on defense.
Dax, come here, watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Pull up a chair.
Ready for battle.
Oh, did they actually destroy everything? No, they didn't.
I think upstairs.
Anti.
Alright.
Let me see bad.
Yeah. Sim might be strong here. It's
I'll play Sim.
Alright, I'm going Zarya. No, I'm asking Michael. No. Sim? Do it. Okay. Let's go.
Are we simming to point?
Yep. They have a
I think the sim is good because they have the Mei. I don't know if that's why you guys made the swap.
Okay,
but I
We
think
need to
it's
all push in
good.
at once.
Go.
Okay, doing it. On point. Go.
We should not. If they were better, they could have punished us really hard. We shouldn't put the TP like here. We should just put it on the side of choke so that the Mei wall can't hit us. Even if like it puts us right here, it doesn't really matter. We just walk to point 1 second anyway. But if we put the TP through here and then half of us walk through and they wall here, then that ruins the whole fight.
Go.
How did he get charged like that?
Yeah. So I mean, we just need to try to like. John should try to counterpin that, obviously, but if we have like any other resources, we need to dump them into that when he gets pinned. So I don't know if we have like an anti-sleep or like anti-nade or anything, but whatever we can dump onto the Rhine to try to at least trade Rhines there. Because if our Rhine just dies for free and the Rhine doesn't, then it's really hard to win from here.
I jumped up.
Way down.
We'll have that advantage. Can you guys reset it? You don't have diva.
Oh.
Yeah, no. Reset. We just lost mate. Kill yourself if you can.
Why did they kill themselves?
Still sim or no? We go dive.
Make sure that if we're gonna reset, there's like a clear call
wish I
because we
played.
kind of like jumped off, like Michael jumped off pretty early, and then people were still unsure if we were resetting or not.
Ash.
If we're resetting, then everybody's off the map. If we're not, then no one is.
They have a junk we made.
What the fuck? Where's that Ash? Choke. What?
Careful, Jonathan. No one else is there.
I want to
Never use bubble at the choke.
Jonathan, back up. Okay. Like, further back. Sim to you.
I think that this comp is kind of hard to win with versus our comp.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Ash, go position here.
I would If you want to go like Ash Widow here, I think Ryan Zarya probably is better. So you can at least pressure the choke, but even then I'm not sure this is like a matchup you'll win. I think you either have to play like dive or I mean, I still think goats can win versus this because they don't have speed aura or anything. If we just rush into their Rhine, they don't have May anymore, so they can't really punish us. It's pretty much just Junkrat spam, so as long as our diva flies a Junkrat and takes him out of the fight, then it's pretty much on Ash to hard carry.
They have a trap, I can't go in. Junkrat's low.
Shit. I thought they were gonna jump in.
I don't really see a target to dive. So Ryan can dive. It doesn't matter. We just
Run set.
we just jump over the choke.
We take next fight with beat. Next fight with beat Nano.
Alright.
If we are gonna
You're
play
losing
Winston Diva, then
I cannot.
I think it's kind of what Michael's trying to say here, but we can like have the Winston jump like above point, that like loading area, and just take space like that. And
The Ryan is
either
almost
they back
back.
up or they don't.
Ryan's
And
almost
if
back.
they
The
don't
Ryan's
back
almost
up, you can
back.
pressure point.
Go
If
quick.
they do back
Alright,
up, then we have space.
Anna back right. I'm going for Anna.
He's jumped up like 15 or something.
Let's do it.
We get 3-man grabbed.
Let's do it.
Down is down. We're even.
Break him, I'm break.
We're down 1. Down 2. Donna just respawned.
Make sure we're like pushing in there. So here we're like doing. Our tanks are taking space. Okay. How exactly do we get caught in
Back.
this?
The Ryan's
position?
almost back.
Jump
I'm ready.
fucked up the jump.
Anna back right. I'm going for Anna. Oh, good.
Okay, so Jonathan is head on the roof, whatever. Tanks are in. But right now they have, is this Zarya behind us? Or who is this, Zarya?
Yeah.
And our DPS are still like back here. So think about like what we're doing right now. We're taking the fight over here when our DPS have no LOS. We're not like playing around the comp we have. Like we can rush this sure if we have goats or if we have dive, but
Yeah, we should
we
go.
have snipers, so
We should go to the rock or something, force them to chase us, so
Yeah.
that Ryan can drop his.
we can just
shield.
go this way or whatever.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
And especially like supports as we're pushing in, like if the tanks are taking this ground, whatever, but like supports should take other ground. Like Lucio can be behind this rock and Anna can like kite out further towards point.
Yeah, it's just I don't think we.
We basically just like all ran in to like a choke where we don't have, it's like a 46.
I noticed a lot with,
Donna's down.
and we can talk about this later, but when I was playing Lucio in our dive comps, I was trying to dive with our tanks a lot, and I should be trying to
Donna
like
just respawned.
reposition our Ana to follow up or
Like
something.
10 seconds. 10.
Yeah, you can like help our Anna get into a good position to have a fight, or like a LOS on the fight. Or, I mean, like you can go for like aggressive boot plays and stuff, but you want to try to make sure that
I don't even know.
you're like spread enough to where you know you're not going to get caught by like, you don't want to give them that value of that grab of both supports and a
The
diva.
first death was just absolute bullshit.
I am diving, Michael. Ready? Yep.
Yeah, I can't see.
That's just.
I'm on Ash.
There's a,
Right,
I can't get through choke, guys.
Yeah, so I mean, like our Anna called, we're kind of just not thinking about the comp we have, so
I am diving,
Yeah,
Michael. Ready?
I'll be
Yep.
I'll be better with my instruction this time. That's not what I'm planning to do.
it's okay. It's just like
Yeah,
we're
we just
diving
have.
back here when we have like all
Yeah,
these
we,
people
we,
here.
we never like played dive on this on
Oh.
this map attack before, so.
Right.
Cause
I think what we can do here is just primal and push their tanks like this way, and
Yeah.
give us space so our DPS can come in and hit shots.
Yeah. I didn't really want Jonathan to jump on their support.
I'm on Ash.
We should be on the rock.
I can't get through.
In general, like we don't need to really fight their supports here at all because like our DPS are like burst damage, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We're looking for picks. We're not looking for like a traditional dive or anything.
Get
We're just
through
looking to
choke,
make
guys.
space so that we can get picks.
Yeah.
Anna.
And I think in general, like this high ground here was like underutilized. We didn't take it at all. We just kept going into the bait of going back here, where we could have been like going left side and forcing point and getting our Ashe like on this high ground. Like if we have Widow up here, Ashe on this high ground, like shooting through the window on that backside, you know, into point, and Anna like on this high ground or something, then it's really hard for them to.
Yeah, we need to be like,
Ryzen
we need to
alone?
practice more with our position.
Run down.
Yeah, I think in general it just kind of looks like we're
Moving your point, moving your point.
don't have like a lot of experience on this map in terms of like
Maggie lives.
Should be winnable.
what positions we want
Yeah,
to
I
fight
kept
in.
3 or 4.
I mean,
How do we coordinate that? Like,
Run a cap, run, move up.
Alright,
I
Jonathan,
mean,
we can talk
I
about
feel-
it.
do we need to tell everybody where to go? Like, I don't. That
I
seems
feel
like
we just
too much.
do- No, we need to like set up the plan like before games.
I would
Yeah.
just say that like
Okay.
the general rule people should follow is that we don't want to chase like out of each other's LOS, right? We don't want to be taking 2v6s, 4v6s, whatever. We want to take 6v4s. We want to take 6v2s. We want to have the numbers advantage. So going here where we know that at least 2 of our people aren't going to be able to help us isn't, you know, it doesn't help us. Or if people are going to go here, then like our DPS need to be ASAP getting here and, you know, shooting that direction. But in general, we should be thinking about like where our Widow can play. Like if they're stuffing this choke, then our Widow can pretty much only play up here, right? So let's try to take the fight in their LOS. And if nothing else, we can try to like go this way and bait them to follow us. And then that's where our Widow can take this ground or something, and their supports have to come out to try to heal, and they're exposed to a Widow.
Should be winnable, huh?
But
kept 3 or
I don't
4.
think it's necessarily like a map specific thing, even if it's just like we need to play around like the Widow and the Ashe sight
Jonathan, we
lines.
can talk about it.
We
think
definitely
about-
I
need
have Bob now. They have switched to Hanzo.
We need to think about like
Yeah.
what strong positions we can get them into and like try to help them get there.
I can Bob in now.
Wait.
Yeah, here
I'm gonna
comes
skull.
the.
They're all on
fucking-
top right. Break this shot! Break along! Break!
She's half.
I fucking.
Watch out for Hanzo.
So here again, like we shouldn't just dive on Brig because we don't have like actual dive. We're not gonna kill Brig with just like Winston Diva damage.
Mhm.
So instead of like diving Brig here, what I would probably do is
On top
just
right.
jump above point,
Yeah, they're all on
or
top. Break this shot! Break along! Break!
probably we just need to take the time to like get our DPS into stronger positions. Like let's take this high ground and get back on that side. I can't really draw, but you know what I mean, like that back coast side.
Yeah.
We can have someone like on that LOS back here. And then like once we have those angles, we can just get our Winston on high ground, have our Ashe peeking from this side, Widow peeking from coast. And these people aren't safe up here anymore. Anybody who comes to point to contest our Widow or our Winston is in both our snipers LOS. And if we're gonna jump something versus their comp, we should be jumping their DPS.
If they position like this, can we go
Watch out for Hanzo.
bottom right, like below them?
I probably wouldn't just because you guys have double sniper. I think
No, but like if we have our snipers on the left and we on the right, we jump on them first, and then DPS show up and try to get picks.
well, I think if your DPS just go left side, you guys can just wait in main as tanks, and then like if there are snipers or whatever up here, you can just jump them and pressure as we push out and shoot. Otherwise, I think in general you just have to like try to pressure point and make them like come into your snipers LOS.
Hanzo top right.
Never mind. Side point. Back up.
We're gonna lose if we let them DPS
Yeah,
down.
we can't let them stay on the high
I
ground.
think this is
died 'cause
a
of
hard
it.
comp to win on this point with though. I would probably switch to just Winston
Both
Goats.
our healers died. Yeah.
Not gonna kill you, I don't think.
Watch sightlines.
Oh, they're staggered.
They're not gonna stagger you.
Staggered.
I think it's like
It's two
Why
snipers.
did he do that instead of just leave
Need
it?
to watch out.
there are strong angles and stuff for the snipers, but they have to do a lot before the other team does a little in order to win, if that makes
I think we
sense.
should go high ground, middle ground. and then
So they could have refused to hit him though, couldn't they?
Okay, I'm gonna stay with widows to go
Yeah.
go to one of the
'Cause
windows.
it's not
And
like
you guys
Halo
follow
where-
monkey.
oh, I missed.
Okay, I'm with you, widow.
Okay, going left. You guys.
I think if we're gonna be on this again, I think Ryan Zarya is better, just because we can just go down main with Ryan Zarya, sit on point with Widow on high ground and Ash on coast or something, and when they come to contest our tanks on point, we can we have speed, so we can kite their tanks, and our Ash Widow can take their DPS
They
out.
gotta make me space though, otherwise they're
And we
just
go
sitting
from
in the nose.
there.
I can't go in the nose.
They're gonna shout
Building
or
ult here. I'm
something.
just building ult here.
Alright, we gotta.
But I don't think we're ever gonna get through a choke like this.
Follow that anti.
Alright, push in, push in, push in.
Widow, how to walk?
There's a Ryan outside.
Ryan's the back line.
Ash on point alone.
I'm with the healers. I'm with the
Guys,
healers.
we're really split right now.
Okay, yeah, we gotta
We
regroup.
should be even though right now, but they have smart
We're down
advantage.
two. We're down
Just
two.
don't give him like shit. I don't know.
Yeah, the problem is yeah.
Ash is asleep.
I think this comp is just
Where?
She's too far in.
maybe hard for us. I think it's
I fucking hate
not
it.
really playing to our strengths.
It's so pretty. Can't.
Ash, no dynamite.
They have shatter.
They shattered. No, they used it. They used it. Yeah.
They use shatter, yeah.
I need to bobbin.
They have grab though.
You can bob.
Nice.
We got a pick.
That was a good pick. Do we know where's Trigger through this
I'm
whole
on, run.
time?
Oh, dude.
Sorry.
Oh, dude.
He muted again.
Ana's burning.
Ash, right side of point, right side of point.
I don't have sleep.
Yeah, mostly just trying to find base to
Break point.
posture so I can actually have sight line.
I'm on right.
Felt like I was getting shut down.
Step on right.
I mean,
Oh my god.
I think it's just hard. Like, I don't think we have, we're not
I can't
taking the
believe
space,
you
we're
can.
not making space, and I think it's
Like grab.
hard to do it with our comp versus our comp.
That was a pro
So,
grab.
I think unless our Widow absolutely pops off, we're not gonna win with this.
Let's
And even
bomb
then,
and
if you're
boot
hitting
the
the shots
rhino
and
in.
stuff, it's just
Can we
not
boot
enough.
their tanks onto the low ground and then
Sure,
bomb?
but you need to force out. You need to force out the bubbles.
Okay.
Like with an initial push, maybe.
And especially now, they're on
You go
grid
main, I'm gonna-
Moira, that's our heals. It's such weak heals. If we just go goats, we can walk into their Rhine. I think their comp is really weak to goats because Hanzo Ash is good versus goats sometimes, on more open points. If we just went to point, sure, it'd be good versus us. But if we walk into them high ground, they can't really do anything.
I'm gonna come from high ground, from low ground. I can use ult to stay alive. I mean, go high. Yeah, you get what I'm saying.
Where are we going?
No, high ground. I'm joining you. I'm countering. Go high ground of Diva. Diva, tell me when you're in position.
Where?
Yeah, we're at the choke.
Alright, I'm on Ash. Push in.
Nice.
Okay. He got.
I'm on right.
This is good, but I think this is we're doing a good job of punishing it, but this is mostly just their mispositioning, and even then they ended up cleaning it up.
Right.
The heads up play
Bro, I can't heal. Nice.
and die.
Rhino,
we managed.
The Ryan's on my Ana.
Guys.
Nice.
Oh
Ryan
god.
slept behind.
I'm coming to the point.
Save this man!
Keep
this man alive! What are you doing?
Oh my god.
Why did you drop? Why did you drop?
I'm on brig inside.
Right.
Jonathan just wants to not lose. Wait, why did you drop? Oh, Ben!
Bob on point.
Yeah, I think if we want to play this comp, it's gonna be a lot of I don't think we understand the comp fundamentally and everybody's roles within it. So I think it would be a lot of work to just teach a whole new play style. I think it might be better if we just focus on other stuff.
Okay.
Unless you guys want to invest the time, but I think it's going to take dedicated practice on it to actually make progress. Because I think every fight, I don't think we approached a fight correctly once, and I think that's not something that can be taught really easily. It's a lot of details of everybody's role within the comp.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not even like we can't even like look at that bot and be like, oh, look at these these misplays or whatever. Like it's not really like the misplays didn't lose it for us. It was fundamentally we didn't know how to walk in and win a fight, right?
Okay.
It might be just because I joined a little bit late because I'm coming from lab, but even now I still don't know how we would win that fight, like with that comp.
Right. I think it's like I said, it's hard on that point, especially versus their comp to win with that comp because we basically need our Widow to be in a position where they can just kill everything for us. And I think if their team is like stuffing properly, it's hard to do that. I think you can work on first point, but we need to play a lot slower. We need to like get our tanks into strong positions, make the other team rotate, be afraid of us. Just basically play keep away while we just keep taking more and more ground and let our Widow and Ashe shoot things. Stuff like getting our Winston on top of them and getting whatever free damage you can, bubbling and just pressuring, but not actually committing. And D.Va just basically plays to control areas, so like their DPS can't be there. So, I mean, again, that's very specific as to like where we're trying to fight, but generally it's gonna be a high ground that D.Va just sits there and says, "Okay, your DPS can't play here," and that just gives our Widows like basically we take away like the prime positions that they're like the sight lines that they want to play with our D.Va and our Winston, and then we get our snipers into like the positions like the best sight lines they can be in, and then just off that we should have a huge advantage as long as nobody's dying. We just play those angles and win. But I don't think I don't know. I think there's too many like it just didn't look like anybody was really comfortable with that play style basically, and I don't think it's worth it to like force it.
Yeah.
I think we like generally do pretty decently on goats, and like even dive I think we're pretty good at. So I think between those two you should be fine. I think dive could have worked versus their comp on first point, and I think goats would have worked really well on second. I think even when we are playing dive though on first point, we don't need to like force things so hard. We don't need to like come around a corner and Winston jump into their backline every fight. That's not like how we need to dive. Just because we're playing dive tanks doesn't mean we need to like constantly be aggressing. We can just take whatever space they give us. So like go in left side, get that high ground by the mega, get our supports like behind point, make them come to point, and then like we can set up flanks and wrap around them, and then as our supports push out into more exposed areas, that's where we can like just engage.
In that time, how do you sustain yourself though? Like, because as main tank, like I'll be constantly taking damage, and it's like as Winston, I can't really hide. So it's like,
right, but that's the thing is like you shouldn't be taking constant damage because you should be taking ground where you're not going to. So like jumping to the like that platform above point and like playing here. Let me get a rewind really quick. I'll just show you. Okay.
Sim.
Okay, so like, let's say we're playing dive here, and the other team is just trying to stuff choke or whatever. They're like in this general area. Then that's where we can like send our Winston up here, and you just wait here, like go get mega, whatever. There's a bunch of megas over there and minis, and then like once your jump is off cooldown and stuff, you can say, okay, I'm pressuring point. You go to point from here, and either they come back to deal with you or they don't. And if they do come back for you, that's where you can just jump into here, and we have like a 5v6 because somebody's on point chasing you, right?
mm-hmm.
And if they don't come back to pressure you, I mean, you're pressuring point, whatever. And like other people, like our Sombra, whoever, can be getting behind doing a similar thing, like come back here and start shooting their Zen in the back, like make them turn around and look at him. But but we should just be like taking more ground and making them look behind them so they can't just stand in the open in this area. They have to like back up and play somewhere else. They have to like come to point and try to contest point. And then like once we do that, we have all this space. We can get our supports high ground or wherever. If they're playing like really aggressive at the choke with goats, then we probably wouldn't be playing dive anyway, right? Mm-hmm. So if they're on like Ash Hanzo or Ash whatever, that's where we can just, as a team, walk in with speed and go left side and
as
get like behind point. Yeah, as anything really. But we can just take the ground as a team and get behind point. Start pressuring point, get a flank set up from behind, but eventually like we're gonna have this fight right here where their supports are like in this area rather than being way back behind, you know, like almost a second point.
Take hide on point.
Basically just like put more emphasis into map control because I don't think we really are prioritizing that at all. We're just like looking to fight right away. We're not looking to clear out flanks, get our people set up on flanks, get our supports in good positions, get our DPS in good positions, whatever. Just get map control and then fight.
Is that the case whenever you play a 2-2-2 comp? That's what that was.
I mean, really, that's kind of the case for like almost every comp. Even in GOATs, it's true to an extent. It's less. I mean, everything is kind of watered down in GOATs, but you still want to like make sure you're putting your Zen in a good LOS, and you want to like get your Zarya. So like, this is a bad point as an example, but in general, when you can have the opportunity to have your Zarya on a high ground like this, it's good. You know, they're just free shooting over the other team's shield. So I think in general, like we could be abusing map control more, getting people in stronger positions.
Could we switch over to Horizon?
Yeah, that'd probably be good.
Cool.
What do you guys play on Ryzen?
I think we play similar. What do we play? Do we play triple tank dive? Let me check.
Ben should play this one.
Oh, we played Orisa on defense.
Okay, this is fine. This is a good comp.
Where do they rotate?
I would maybe Ashe instead of Widow.
Oh, there.
But Widow's okay.
I'm a coming. Nice. I hope I don't get.
I think Ashe is better because Ashe does really well. Like Ashe Junkrat completely shuts down goats, and Ashe does better versus dive.
And with the Mercy, Ashe can one shot
Mercy Ashe
anyways.
Can one shot. Yeah. And like because we have an Orisa shield, like they can't go like Widow and just sit here to contest you. You know, you should be able to win that anyways.
If I don't get sniped right at the start.
If it's a possibility, don't stand there. Shield pressure. I want all you to.
So here you could be doing like a little more pressuring, Michael. Like if you know they're pushing under here, just like swing out a little wider and just shoot. I mean, it seems minimal, but that extra 400 or 500 damage on shield adds up.
Shield pressure. I want all your damage on the shield. All your damage on his shield. Alright, now move. I can touch.
I didn't know Jonathan dropped.
Eva 1. Shield pressure.
Okay, so here, I think...
So they had an Ashe on the stairs shooting the high ground.
Yeah.
I mean, at least one of the tanks should be up there.
Yeah, I think we just kind of didn't rotate properly.
Yeah.
I think when we see them rotating like this to point 2, the Orisa should drop this way and shield here.
Is it worth?
Then we can put like a Junkrat Orisa basically right here, just spamming, and then control high ground with a D.Va plus Widow. Control here, because if we have a Widow shooting from this angle on their back line, while Junkrat spamming here, then that should be pretty good pressure.
So you do want me to drop, because we talked about because in solo queue and stuff I always do drop, but Michael was telling me to stay up top next time. But so what is the right decision?
No, I think you should drop, because I think D.Va controls high ground better. It's mostly because they have Ashe.
Okay. Is there any comp that I shouldn't drop? Like I guess if they run goats or something?
Yeah, I'd say if they have goats, you kind of have to just play slower, and that's where like the DPS need to go wild. Like when they're on goats, you need your Junkrat to be like coming in behind here and just like walking into them, shooting, not being afraid, because you can just Junkrat mine away if they turn to him, you know. But he needs to try to build tire in like 5 seconds. But here I would say basically Orisa drops and shields here. Maybe Zen drops like to these back stairs, you know, and shoots this angle. Junkrat can pressure from behind your shield too, and then Diva Widow control here and shoot into their backline. That's should be like pretty strong angles, I think.
Would it be worth it for the last hour of this VOD review, or I don't know, for the last 30 minutes or something, to like walk through the maps for this week? And like plan
Maybe,
this
yeah,
stuff
sure.
beforehand?
Yeah, because I think, yeah, that might be useful, because I feel like it's easy for me to tell you in hindsight like what we should have done, but if you guys aren't sure what to do like in the moment, then we can always fix these problems in hindsight, but it won't, you know. I'm sure we'd rather have them fixed before we can go to the match.
Mm-hmm.
Is everybody good with that?
It's Blizzard World, Oasis, and Dorado.
Okay. Which of those maps like are you guys confident on, and which ones are you not really sure?
We're confident on Blizzard World, not confident on Oasis and Dorado.
Dorado's,
Okay.
I would imagine, our weakest.
Yeah, Dorado's, yeah, for sure.
Let's do Dorado then, because...
Are we gonna jump in the game, or how are we gonna do
Yeah,
this?
sure.
Okay.
Do you want to go through the second point here, or just go straight to it?
Let's just do VOD, or do the stuff in game. So I think a lot of the stuff we're seeing in VODs is mostly stuff that, like the last VOD I think was mostly just like a comfortability on the comp thing, and this is kind of like a comfortability on the map.
Right.
I don't think like we're not like losing to misplays or anything. We're just losing to like understandings of what we want to do.
Does anyone want to set up a lobby? I can do it.
Yeah, sure, you can do it.
I would not even bother showing that VOD review to other people. I would focus on, I would just record like the stuff here and say like basically we came to the conclusion that.
Okay, I'm gonna make a new recording then.